Anyway, what do you do in your spare time? So do you still do something aside from blogging?
I think I remember almost a year ago, I thought like I gave myself some sort of a timeline that I tell my team, I think by this time I should be more hands off in the operation of the company, of the team, so that I pass on the responsibility and the helm to the team members who've been with me for the longest time. Our managing editor has been with me for more than 7 years already. It's been there. He's like employee number two, and he's
Mhm.
been with me until now. And I told him that I hope that one day you'd be confident and prepared enough to take over as editor in chief. And I wanted to lay low and pursue other things. And one thing that also came to mind was that was it a fluke? Was it an accident? Or was it, timing that got me into this kind of business? So in a way, I would venture into other non-related ventures just to see if I still have it. I still have that mindset of an entrepreneur. I got into farming. I got into a lot of other things, and just to make sure that do I still have that acumen or that the entrepreneurial spirit. But for the most part, I would say I'm like 50%. I'm like semi-retired, enjoying. I told my team I've been doing this for two shifts, one in the morning, one in the evening, for more than 15 years. I think I deserve some sort of a me time by now.
Yeah, that's a long time. Because I was speaking to Asher a couple of weeks ago. He's saying, I've been doing the blogging probably almost 20 years now, 19 years now. So he was also thinking of maybe I'm going to retire as well after 20 years because I've been doing this for a long time. So, but he's looking as well to a different aspect of blogging. So maybe you got the same mindset as well. So the next question I have, I already ask this to Azrael as well, Coladelia. Can you name some of your favorite bloggers and explain why they are your favorites?
Well, one of the biggest influence why I got into blogging when I started out would be ProBlogger.net. Darren Rose, he's Australian. Actually, I
Yeah,
read
yeah,
his
yeah.
almost every day. Actually, when I started out like really concentrating on blogging, actually formatted my style from him because he was more like how to grow your blog, how to engage audience, how to ideate, how to look into concepts. So until now, I no longer read his blog. I don't have time to read a lot of sites. But I always looked up to him. Actually, he was the first guy that gave me the idea that maybe blogging could be for me. He posted this story about the house that blogging bought back in 2005, 2006. So that was a parang like a eureka moment for me that maybe blogging can be a serious um, thing, even especially in the Philippines, right? Um, uh, Today I would look at a lot of the YouTubers like um, Unbox Therapy or Dave 2D, Canadian, the Chinese guy from Canada. But I look at them and I see myself, especially I know LTT, Linus Tech Tips.
Yep.
I always talk to my team and tell them that one day maybe would be as big as LTT or at least LTT of the Philippines. So I always look at his passion, his drive, it not really on the type of content that they have, but more on the drive of the person behind the channel or behind the site that really motivates me, that really ignites, you know, excitement for me and my team. And we always brainstorm on things that what can we do to make ourselves different and to make our audience more excited with the things that we do, and not just be a Me Too site or a Me Too channel or a Me Too website. So I would say if there's
Mm.
something that we really want to be aligned with or as a target, that would be Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah. So that's your most influential.
Yeah, I think he's our most admired content creator. I would look at him as a content creator. Who wants to dig into uh, to deep dive into what they're really doing and the way they approach it. It's very raw, but yet it's very detailed. It's very authoritative.
All right. So on the technology side, what do you think the technology can do to help fight this COVID-19 right now? So the situation right now. So
I think I think there's an app or there's a platform that was used by the Singaporean government. It's like contact tracing. It's an app that uses Bluetooth and GPS, so that people who have been either infected or under investigation or under monitoring can be easily traced via their smartphones. And I think that's the best way. If the government or the Department of Health has access to all these PUIs and PUMs, we can easily identify and isolate them so that we don't need the very costly effects of a lockdown or community quarantine. By easily and quickly identifying them and isolating them from the rest of the community, we minimize the rate of infection and at the same time provide for mobility for the rest of the uninfected or for the rest of the population. I think that would be a key technology in order for us to easily and to quickly combat the threat of COVID-19.
that's fantastic. So my last question before we wrap it up. In 2020, today is 2020 compared to 2002. What is your help in tips or advice to the new aspiring content creator?
I would always tell people when they ask me this that always look for that need. Don't just create it based on what you think you want to provide. You want to add to a sea, an ocean of already existing content. You always have to look and ask yourself, is there a need for this? Because there are a lot of treatments, there are a lot of styles approach in creating content. But if you focus on the need, regardless of your delivery or regardless of your personality, people will always look for this. So I always advise that base your approach on the need, and is there a gap in the existing pool of content out there that needs to be filled up, and is that gap big enough for you to survive and to thrive in a way. Otherwise, you'd be duplicating what is already out there. And unless you're much better than the existing ones, it's really hard to penetrate this industry, especially that almost everyone can be a content creator.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and if you want to know more, check out kangaroofern.com.